All right, Joe and Tristan here today. We're here to talk a little bit about what it means to achieve your personal best. I think everybody kind of has their own interpretations on what achieving your personal best actually means and how to do that. And to me, I think that achieving your personal best, you really need to be interested in what you're trying to achieve. If you're doing something with that, without that personal drive, without the interest, you're really not going to... Ready.
Hi, my name is Joe.
And I'm Tristan.
And we're here to talk about what one does to achieve their personal best, in anything in particular.
And I think everyone kind of has their own different interpretations on, what that means. For me, for someone to really achieve their personal best, they really have to find a personal interest in that whatever they're trying to do. They really have to care. They can't just kind of, half-ass it. They really have to care about what they're trying to do.
I completely agree. And my definition is sort of like, it's not all about the label or the grade. It's all about you get what you give. You get whatever you put into it, and you get whatever you can to get out of that. And for one to feel successful about their work, they know deep down that they put effort into something that they're passionate about. Because if you do something that you don't care about and you're not having fun with it, then there's no point to doing that to begin with.
Yeah, I agree. Joe, you have the dictionary definition of success, right?
Yes, the dictionary definition of success is, quote, the favorable or prosperous termination of attempts or endeavors, the accomplishment of one's goals, end quote.
Okay. And then do you have any famous quotes that you wanna reference?
I have one from Winston Churchill, and it says, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." And I completely can relate. And
yeah, I like that. And I think one of my favorite quotes on success is by Stephen Hawking, and he actually said,
something, because when you're a child, you don't really know about the real world yet and things you got to do. And I joined karate when I was like 10 or 11 years old. I joined a national karate group, and I was there for about 5 or 6 years. And I worked really, really hard for a long time, because a lot of it is just like culture related and things I'd never heard of. And a lot of people that are ranked higher than you but will have like a lower ranking teacher even. And it's really confusing because of it's being an adult, but it's also being respected even as a kid. And if you're a black belt and you're 12 years old, I've seen plenty of those people. But like, it took me a while. Like, I went to 3 different exams and then 1 final exam. And those exams were probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, because you're standing on one foot for a half an hour, or you're doing all these forms and getting yelled at and pushing through it. It's not like boot camp, but it's kind of that getting hit in the face with a brick saying, hey, life is full of challenges. And that's when I realized that if I'm really passionate about this, I can do it, and I can get the black belt. And I didn't actually pass the second exam the first time. I had to go back and retake that. And that's the first time I really didn't get what I wanted right away, because it's the first time really that I really had to work hard at anything. Because school doesn't really come easy to everybody either, but that's not really like karate, because you're not studying. You're kind of just working at it while you're there. And you can work at it from home too, but it's not the same when you don't have the setting and other people that are involved in karate around you. So when I achieved my black belt though, and I got it at my final exam, I really felt so satisfied, but I also realized that I need to figure out now, growing up, out of childhood, what it is that I'm passionate about, because it might not even be karate. I'm not even in it anymore. I dropped out after I got my first black belt because I wanted to see what else there was to do. But that's when I first feel like I achieved my personal best, because I didn't look at it as quitting. I just looked at it as moving on, because I got what I wanted to get and moved on from there.
Yeah, I like that. I think athletics is always a really good opportunity to prove someone's personal best. I know in school, I honestly can't think of too many opportunities where I've really gave it my all, really put everything I had into it. And as a result, I'm a senior, and my GPA and my test scores and everything is kind of reflecting that. But back to the athletics, track and field, I started that freshman year, and I think honestly that's the one thing that I've really put everything that I could into. Track and field, freshman year. The only other sport I've ever played at that time was football the same year. I was never an athlete in middle school. All my friends always were, and I just kind of thought, maybe I'll try it. Honestly, the only reason why I tried it is because my mom put me in it and didn't tell me. But
that's how a lot of things start.
Yeah, you got to thank those moms, But track and field, it is really great. It's the thing about track and field is anybody could do it. And it's not always necessarily how talented you can be. It's not, what two athletes created the best child to, go on and ultimately win, state titles and all this. It's who works harder. You get what you put into it. And I think I really, really did like that, how I knew I wasn't the most talented, out of the group of kids, especially since I never really had any athletic background, previously. So, freshman year, it was okay. It was a pretty good time. Just, still pretty young, didn't really have a ton of athletic ability at the time. But sophomore year is really when it really, came in for me. I did learn the work ethic. The harder you work, the more results you get out of it. I remember the 4x4 team was the big team at the time. And Calvin Biskins, superstar athlete here at Chaska, that was kind of like his race. And he lost two of their runners the year before because they went off to college. So they needed two more. And it was up to me and Andrew Leck, and they put us on there. And, wide-eyed sophomore, it was really an experience. It really pushed me to work harder because, on those relay teams, I knew that I wasn't only doing it for me. I was doing it for, Calvin, Andrew, and Matt Torrentor, who were also on the team. It wasn't just me. So that was what was keeping me, going harder. Sometimes after practice would finish, we'd keep going just to kind of get a couple more reps in. Here I am now as a senior. I'm hoping to run 3 events this year at state. I'm just kind of that underdog that really came out of nowhere. 300 hurdles this year has been kind of my thing, and
on this big scale of it's the number one thing to get to, and you have to do it or you're gonna crash and burn. But people view not getting into college as failure, or going to college and not really working with it too well to be failure, or even high school. Even if you don't do that great in high school, some people call that failure. And for a lot of people, it's not failure. It's just realizing that that's not what they're all about, and they need to go do what they're passionate about. And if that's working at a gas station every day till midnight, if that's what you love doing, there's nothing wrong with that. And things like media and just being in high school and the pressure of getting into colleges and applying to colleges, if that is what your number one concern is and that's what you want to do, that is great. But if it's not, that is okay too. Everybody has a path, but it's not everybody has the path even to high school or college. It's not everybody's going to turn out to be a doctor or a famous guitar player. It's like you can't. Not everything is so black and white.
Yeah, I like that, Joe. I think I agree. Society really does put a lot of pressure on students with their grades. I think a lot of times it seems that if you don't come out of high school with a 4.0 or or a 5 on all your AP tests, it's like you didn't succeed. But honestly, it's like sometimes people don't necessarily put their personal best in their schoolwork because they're busy putting their personal best into something else like athletics. A lot of times people have family issues at home. It really all depends on the current situation that they're in. All right, and there you have it. Thanks for listening today. It's been great talking about, what it means to achieve your personal best. I think, Joe and I really kind of got our points out there, and, hopefully, we'll go on to make a difference And thanks for listening, guys. We hope you have a great day. See ya.